catch me if I fall.
Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live this Sunday afternoon. And our huge game of the afternoon is the North London Derby. A North London Derby that has a lot on the line. Spurs in the chase for the top four. They want to keep on the coattails of Aston Villa. Arsenal, they're in a title race once again and want to lead the way by the end of tonight. They slip up here, and Manchester City, when they play later, could finish the afternoon top of the Premier League table with a game in hand. Arsenal need to continue to play in the amazing form that they've been in as of recent weeks, and they need to show that title winning form here this afternoon. Their last two games, big wins and big results, keeping clean sheets in both. They know how to find the net and they know how to keep it out of their own net, Arsenal. They'll need to epitomise that here this afternoon in one of the toughest of their fixtures remaining. The North London Derby is always a big contest, always an exciting game as well. And we're kind of poised for an incredible fixture here this afternoon at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs, as I mentioned in that top four race, they need to stay with Aston Villa. They've got those games in hand, but this will be a huge result to try and kick Spurs on to their final 5 games of the season. And we will start with today's two teams. And we start with Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. Vicario starts in goal, a back four of Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, Mickey van de Ven and Ben Davies at left back. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Rodrigo Bentancur make up the defensive midfield, while James Maddison takes up the attacking role, alongside the front three of Dejan Kulusevski, Timo Werner and Heung-min Son, who captains the side. On the bench for Tottenham this afternoon is Brandon Austin, Radu Dragushin, Emerson Royal, Giovanni Lo Celso, Brian Gil, Yves Bissouma, Pape Sarr, Richarlison and Brennan Johnson on the bench for Ange Postecoglou's side. For the travelling Gunners, Mikel Arteta's team, they start with David Raya in goal, a back four of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Takehiro Tomiyasu in defence. Thomas Partey continues in midfield alongside Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, the captain, with a front three of Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard off the left and Kai Havertz in that false nine role once again up front. On the bench for Arsenal, Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Kivior, Smith-Rowe, Vieira, Jorginho, Nketiah, Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. A North London derby for the ages. Spurs would love to spoil the Arsenal party and maybe derail their championship hopes. Everton did it against Liverpool in midweek, and Arsenal would look to avoid that of their closest rivals as of recent times. And their biggest rivals would love to derail their season and give Manchester City a clear path to a fourth successive title. Kick-off in the North London Derby is next.
Messi, I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny. Call me a god. Call me a god.
Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live for this North London derby. The atmosphere is immense here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Absolutely electric. And these Spurs players and these Spurs fans would love to dampen Arsenal's title hopes here this afternoon. It will be a perfect Sunday afternoon for the Tottenham players and fans if they could do that. Arsenal would love to come here and really stamp their prowess, stamp their positivity, their attacking threat on this Tottenham team. Both sides love to play attacking football. Let's hope we get a bit of good attacking football here today, and a few goals to add to the mix. as we're underway then for this one. And two sides, as I've mentioned multiple times, have a lot to play for. It's one of those ones where a North London derby over recent years, not always has both teams had something to go for this late on in the season. No disrespect to them, but North London's not been the most kind of trophy kind of filled part of England in the last few years. They haven't been raking in the trophies. Let's just say that much. As Raya gets the early free kick, sends it long down the line. As the ball in behind, Saka trying to pounce, but Bentancur battling. Does win that battle as Arsenal player goes down there again, and Tomiyasu battling with Kulishevsky, and Dejan Kulishevsky does well and ends up off the pitch, both players in a bit of a scuffle there. Very physical start to this North London derby, and one where experienced referee Michael Oliver will have his work cut out this afternoon. Yeah, Tomiyasu really trying to rugby tackle Dejan Kulishevsky there. They both end up outside of bounds, shall we say, and on the floor. Be interesting to see what way both teams try and attack the other this afternoon, and kind of we know how fluid both teams are in their attacking displays, and their build-up play is really fluid and quick. You know, neither teams like to wait about and slow the game down much. They love a high-tempo game, these two teams, and that could make for a really exciting game here this afternoon. And that's exactly what we want to see here in this North London derby. That's why it's always one of the games that when you get the dates in the calendar, you know, I'm going to do that game because I know that that's going to be a fantastic game. And the North London derby always is a really entertaining football match. That's what makes it so good. We're also, by the way, oh, there we are. Just seeing a graphic for a moment. The first 15 minutes, these two teams have the most goals in the first 15 minutes of games out of any teams in the Premier League this season. Here's Ødegaard, breaks off a challenge of Højbjerg. Ødegaard in the box, tried to square it across to Saka, but cut out that time by Bentancur and carried away by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg here. Really nice work from Ødegaard to hold off his man. There's a foul there. Michael Oliver tells him to get up quickly as they take the free quick. Spurs. Madison. Porro has to go backwards again. 3 minutes gone then in this North London derby. Still goalless. Just to let you know about our match focus this afternoon, we do have another game underway at 2 o'clock this afternoon in the Premier League. It is Bournemouth against Brighton. We're watching that one for you, so we'll keep you up to date if anything changes in that one, but still goalless after a couple of minutes gone in that one. And we'll update you if anything changes at the Vitality Stadium. Partey. Down the line, here's Ben White on the right-hand side. Gets past Werner. Saka hounded there by Ben Davies, who does really well to win it back off Bukayo Saka there. Romero. The Højbjerg. Romero. Across to Van de Ven. Has to turn back on himself as Arsenal with a high press. Back to Vicario. Now Van de Ven again. Interesting it seems, the way Arsenal are set up here. It's kind of like they're very narrow out of possession, I can see. Whenever Spurs are at the back with their centre-backs, you've got Kai Havertz and Ødegaard as more kind of a two, really. And then Saka and Trossard are sitting a bit deeper, kind of like wide midfielders. But once they're in possession, it's a 4-2-4 for Arsenal. Saka and Trossard push up alongside Ødegaard and Havertz. It's interesting how they move between that. A 4-2-4 to probably a 4-4-2 in a sense, or a 4-2-2-2. As they go all the way back to David Raya, who's cool on the ball. Knows the pressure's coming from Son, but passes it off nicely. It's Partey beaten to it there in the middle by Madison. Here's Son now. Chance for Spurs. Son Plays it on to Madison in the box. Back to Heung-min Son. And Arsenal get lots of bodies back and crowd that area out. The Spurs can't make the most of that opportunity, but really kind of aggressive approach as they're still going here in this through ball there. The referee played the advantage. The Spurs fans not happy they didn't get a free kick, but the referee played advantage and it didn't work out. Therefore Arsenal get the ball back. But very aggressive approach there from Tottenham. It was Bentancur that pressed Partey really aggressively and just nicked the ball away from him. And burst Spurs into attack. Ball out from the back there from Arsenal. Saka on the right flank again. Up against Davies. Dropping in was Højbjerg. Ødegaard trying to link it up with the overlapping Ben White. But the ball just a few yards ahead of Ben White. And that goes out for a Spurs throw. But a triangle, that three-man link-up between Saka, Ødegaard and White on that right-hand side has been a very fruitful attacking area for Arsenal. Very kind of well-oiled machine, shall we say. They know exactly where each other are, and it's just beautiful to watch Arsenal at times. I mean, I commentated on the game, another London derby that Arsenal were in at the Emirates on Tuesday night when they faced Chelsea. And they absolutely destroyed Chelsea on the night. But one thing I enjoyed about Arsenal, they were comfortable in their football. They knew what they needed to do. They played the way they wanted to play. And they made Chelsea look schoolboyish. The lack of clinical finishing in the first half made it look a lot more even than it actually was. It was only 1-0 at half-time, but Arsenal were so in control of that game, it was unreal. Quite remarkable. Madison, who is a interesting figure for this game, of course. James Madison. 1-2 touch football there from Spurs, playing in between the lines. Bentancur lays it off to Werner. Werner on the left-hand side, making that infield run. Werner across, but the cross comes straight to David Raya, the Arsenal goalkeeper, who can gather fairly easily there and deny the Spurs attack any sort of threat there. As White closed in. All the way back to Saliba, who has to go long. High press there from Spurs. Talking about Arsenal's high press. Spurs pressing really high. They've won it here with Højbjerg in the middle. Porro. Romero to Van de Ven. Down the left-hand side is Werner. Arsenal bodies back into the box. Sitting deeper there, Arsenal. Not pushing out at the moment. Kulishevsky. And one thing I can see what Arsenal are trying to do, I mean, you can see it's clear 4-2-2-2, which adds the stability through the middle for Arsenal to try and win the ball back at any given moment when Spurs try and play it through. And they just played it through the middle there, Spurs, and Arsenal won it back. I think Arsenal pretty comfortable, from what I can see, to allow Werner and Kulishevsky wide on those areas, on those flanks, take up those spaces. There's a lot of space on the flanks, but I think that's kind of on purpose from Arsenal's point of view. The fact they're allowing them those spaces wide, being a lot more compact in the middle, not allowing them that space through the middle to break through, and be confident to win it back that way. Allowing them the wide areas. Nice ball across from Saka. Ødegaard now finds Trossard. Trossard with a cross back in, cleared away. Partey wins it back and is brought down there by James Madison, and it will be a Arsenal free kick. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can just see James Madison just pulling the left arm of Partey away from the ball, kind of pulling him back, dragging him away from the ball there, which is quite clearly a foul, and the correct decision by Michael Oliver, the referee. He's just setting up the defensive wall here for Spurs, telling them where 10 yards is. Another thing that we see very often now is the second wall, the kind of defensive wall, but then we see a wall from the attacking team. like a two-man wall usually, 2 or 3-man wall, around about a yard or two ahead of the defensive wall. So there's 3 around this for Arsenal. Rice, Odegaard and Trossard all around this free kick. I think Rice has just stepped away. So it's between Odegaard and Trossard. Who's going to take this one for Arsenal? Odegaard hits the wall with his left boot. But it will bounce back out to Trossard, who will recycle the possession for the Gunners. Saliba. Through the lines to Rice. As Arsenal will just get bodies back into their natural areas, their natural positions. As Tomiyasu there played up at, kind of sold down the river there by Gabriel. In a very difficult position, lost the ball. Here's Porro. Off to Kulishevsky. They need to be a bit more direct, Spurs here. They've ain't gone back again. And then once again play through the middle and Arsenal have it back again. Oh, Trossard is absolutely messing about in the box. He's giving it away. He looked comfortable for a moment. Looked like he was just stepping around the Spurs player, and then he slipped kind of and lost all control. And now Spurs through the middle. Kulishevsky now finds Son in the box. Cuts it back. Madison over the bar. That all came from an Arsenal mistake. Trossard picked it up at the left back position. You just think he's going to step in and get this ball forward for Arsenal, because they win it back and then they give it away, Arsenal, and then Spurs find those spaces in the middle. And this is why Arsenal do not want to give Spurs the possession in the middle of the park, in those central areas, because they know there's the threat of Madison, there's the threat of Son. They've got the ability of those players in that area to carve you open and to destroy any sort of defence. So Arsenal want to kind of compact that area, win it back in that area, and deny Spurs any sort of possible possession of any real kind of threat in that area. But so far, that mistake from Arsenal gifted them that opportunity, and instantly you can see where Spurs are showing their threat as Madison fires over the bar. But a good area, a good position, and a good bit of build-up. Ultimately comes to nothing. Ball over the top. Odegaard's made the run in behind. Flag stays down for the moment. Plays it on to Havertz. It's in, but the flag has gone up. Was in the net. And just see this again. Yeah, he's miles offside. Yeah, he's offside. Pretty simple. Mickey van de Ven was the closest, was the deepest Spurs defender, but he was offside. Martin Odegaard. Nice idea, though. I talked about Odegaard playing that more advanced role. He's more of like a second striker, really, today. He's he's alongside Kai Havertz here. So he will have that threat in behind. Martin Odegaard. Spurs playing out here with Davis. Back to Vicario. Arsenal trying to close Spurs in with Saka. The ball's given away. Partey, Odegaard and Rice had the shot blocked. And behind by Romero for the corner. Really good press by Arsenal. Saka closing. I think it was Van de Ven into a corner. Really suffocating the Spurs defence. Not allowing them to play out. Really suffocating them and playing them into the trap. And Arsenal win it back really well. Move it 1-2 touch, and Rice has the shot deflected behind for a corner. But really nice pressing from Arsenal. That's what a high press can really do. And that's the kind of con to playing out from the back. You can be very vulnerable to high presses from oppositions if you're not completely fluid with it. Saka with a corner. Left-footed. Flicked onto the front post. It's in! Somehow it's flicked in at the front post. I've no idea who it is, but it's in the back of the net and Arsenal lead. I think it's an own goal. Saka with a lovely corner from the right hand side. It's deep to the front post and it's flicked on somewhere and it finds the back of the net. I think the Arsenal players are confused at what happened too, but they're delirious. Those away fans, travelling Gunners, and the camera's panned on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and I think it's an own goal. We'll see it again. Whipped into the front post, and Højbjerg up for the corner. He heads it to try and get it clear. Probably trying to head it behind, holding off Tomiyasu, and it tries to head it behind, and actually doesn't get a clean connection on it, and it cascades off the head of the midfielder and into the back of the Tottenham net. And Mikel Arteta's reaction there. Cruel for Højbjerg, but you always have that threat of a front post defensive header into the back of your own net. When you're trying to go for those, you always know there's a slight inkling you could end up putting it in there at the back of your own net. That's exactly what Pierre-Emile Højbjerg has done. But Arsenal take the lead, and it all comes from their own kind of pressing. I mean, we bring it back to that press. Spurs playing out from the back. They end up defending a corner, which they score an own goal from. It's all kind of choreographed, really kind of to a T from Arsenal. They knew exactly what they were doing to win that corner, and they know they're threatening from corners. Spurs know that. They kind of overthink it, I think, Spurs. And that's a goal kick, as Trossard was trying to hold off Kulusevski. The Spurs fans wanted a foul, but a free kick, but there was nothing in that for me. It's good defending by Trossard. He's actually come off the worst of the two players. He seems to be in a bit of pain himself with the area. There's nothing in that. Nothing in that at all. I mean, Trossard's nowhere to be seen. He's nowhere near him. That's really poor from Kulusevski there. Really poor. We have a goal in the game on the south coast to tell you about between Bournemouth and Brighton this afternoon in our match focus game for you, because it's been a dramatic start to this North London derby. I haven't had a minute. Spurs get a free kick here with Kulusevski. It's Marcus Senesi has put Bournemouth in front in that one, so Bournemouth lead by a goal to nil, and Brighton's not great form. Their push for Europe has really fallen off a cliff. They now find themselves in 12th place at the moment, Brighton. They were realistic possibilities of getting European football. Doesn't seem to be going that way at the moment. Bournemouth 1, Brighton 0. There we are. We just have a Spurs corner here. Just while I was talking about that Bournemouth goal, Spurs came down the right hand side, squared it across, and Ben White had to head it behind for the Spurs corner. A chance for Spurs to respond. Maddison with a corner, whipped in, headed on, but headed wide by Christian Romero. And it's just agonisingly wide of that right post. Beats his man, and his man ends up on the floor. Yeah, it's Odegaard that ends up on the floor. And it's a really good header by Romero, just agonisingly wide of that right post. So close. But yet so far, shall we say. Postecoglou looking on. And the interesting thing, I mean, Ange Postecoglou's done a wonderful job at Spurs this season. Absolutely incredible job. But the real target for them is they want top 4. And they're running out of games to try and get them. Remember, their 2 games in hand are against Chelsea and Manchester City. Not easy games for Spurs to play. So, not easy fixtures. They do play Chelsea in the coming week, actually, Tottenham. Here's Werner. Maddison. And challenged there by Ben White on James Maddison. Will get Spurs another free kick. Maybe just a bit naive there from Ben White. Didn't need to take on the challenge. He was going nowhere. I mean, he was literally going nowhere. He was facing away from goal, James Maddison. A bit naive, that from Ben White. Right, free kick for Spurs then on the left-hand side. James Maddison, who won it, will take it. Very deep one. Maddison, right-footed delivery, across goal, headed in. It's hit the post. Back in it comes, and Arsenal headed away. How unfortunate for Spurs. One missed the post and the other hit the post. As Havertz doing the defensive work and wins a goal kick. Just see it again. Really nice idea. Well worked by Spurs. Chip to the back post and Christian Romero. Free header at the back post. Saka nowhere to be seen. Or Partey, sorry, nowhere to be seen. And it's just Partey's chasing him down. It's really bad defensive work there from Arsenal again from that set piece. But really smart from Spurs. Romero just heads it onto the post. So unfortunate again. They're knocking on the door, Tottenham. Certainly eyeing up an equaliser. Well, an interesting stat. I'll get to that in a moment as Spurs come forward here. Chop from distance from Kulusevski. Deflected corner. It's actually the third successive time, I've just heard, third successive time that Spurs have scored an own goal for Arsenal in the North London derby. All resulting from Bukayo Saka, either shots or crosses or deliveries or corners. Fascinating that. Romero in the reverse fixture, and then last season Hugo Lloris scored an own goal for Arsenal that time round. So Maddison with the corner, whipped in, headed into the air. Not cleared away, but nice. Saka does clear it away. The shot from distance does take a weird deflection, falls to a Spurs player. 1-1. No flag, no problem, and Mickey van de Ven levels the game for Spurs. A moment of strange events. Everyone in there but Mickey van de Ven knew what was happening. Now there might be a hint of offside. The flag stayed down on the pitch. There was nothing from the officials on the field. But my goodness me, what a strange moment. Strange goal. See it again, comes from the corner. Arsenal get it away. It's the second time around, but Saka clears it. One back, brought down. The shot from Pedro Porro deflects off a Spurs player, or of an Arsenal player. And there might be an offside here. Is Van de Ven offside? Oh, that looks so close. That's so tight. Well, our VAR is Jared Gillett today, so he has a tough task on his hands to figure out this offside. That is so tight, it's unreal. It looks like it's Gabriel playing him on, maybe. Because Gabriel's kind of leaning out. And his, let's just say his rear end could be playing him on. That would be the most iconic way that someone has ever been played onside. They're checking this. And it's going to be so tight. I'm just seeing the clip of... Or just seeing the footage of Jared Gillett and Darren Kahn, the VAR and the assistant VAR. Checking over this one. Not happy, the Spurs fans. They don't know what's going on. All they know is they're checking for offside. Jared Gillett's drawn the lines, and it is offside. And this won't go down well here at Tottenham. This figure, this outcome, and the decision is no goal. Flag up. Well, not flag up. Flag should have been up. Offside. And ever so tight it was, but the lines do not lie. Mickey van de Ven offside. So both Tottenham defenders have been the most threatening. Romero and van de Ven have had the best attacking chances for Spurs at the moment, but no goal for Tottenham. I told you the North London derby is always exciting. There's always drama, there's always mad moments. We've had an own goal and a disallowed goal. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Certainly been dramatic 25 minutes here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Nothing controlled or calm about this one. Did brushed the hand of Saka there, that ball, but nothing in that, according to the officials. Vicario at the back. Highly pressed there by Havertz. Well, interestingly, it's only this fixture that would have 0 shots on target, but there would be a goal. Fantastic. Of course, an own goal doesn't count as a shot on target. Of course. I think Arsenal are... I mean, both teams are a bit frantic. And I know that they love to play high tempo, but you need to be controlled. You can play high tempo, but you need to know what... be controlled and calm in moments. Playing a dramatic game is only going to go one way, and that's going to make it even more open. Spurs don't want or Arsenal don't want an open game. Both two Spurs players down in the box. Cries of a penalty, but referee unmoved. I would tend to agree because they look pretty tame. And look at Saka. Look at the space here for Bukayo Saka. He's free. Into the box. He chops back. 2-0. Completely incompetent defending. Spurs nowhere to be seen. At 6s and 7s at the back. And Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal number 7, benefits the most. Chops back onto his left. Miles of space. Not a Spurs defender in the same country as him, in the same postcode. And he just chops back onto his left and just slots it into the far corner. Now Tottenham are complaining. They're flooding the referee here because they felt that there was a penalty at the other end, but the referee didn't give it. Get back and defend. Nothing in that. And there's nothing in that. There's nothing in either of those. And the fact they do not get anybody's back. Play to the whistle. That's what you're told. Play to the whistle. If you know you're not getting a penalty, get back. Spurs just have bodies up the pitch. No one in any space. And Ben Davies gets torn to bits here defensively. Turned inside out by Bukayo Saka, who finds a lovely far corner shot. And doubles Arsenal's lead. Fantastic work. And that is absolutely fantastic from Bukayo Saka, who's been highly involved in both goals so far. 2-0. The Spurs trying to respond quickly. Again, throwing bodies into the box. The goal was cleared pretty quickly. I don't think there was anything wrong with it, as Werner wins the corner. I mean, I get Spurs and why they're complaining about they felt there was a penalty at their end, but the referee didn't give it. VAR will check it. Play to the whistle. The referee didn't give it on the field. Get back and defend, but they all stay up the pitch. Terrible. Great from Arsenal though, as the corner comes in. Again headed away by the Gunners. There is a man down of an Arsenal persuasion in the box. As that cross comes in, it means nothing. It is, looks like Odegaard again. It is Martin Odegaard. He's gone down again from the corner. He was down earlier from a corner. Let's see the replay in this if we can. Just staying down at the moment. He's going to see treatment. We're just going to see this again. The corner comes in. Yeah. Yeah, it's Romero. Romero is Odegaard's man. He's trying to hold him off, and then he just collides with Bentancur. It's just an accidental one, that. Just his face completely collides with the torso of Rodrigo Bentancur. It's accidental, but it's painful, I would say, for the Arsenal captain. Just seeing the replays of these penalty shouts. This ain't a penalty. I mean, he trips himself up there, does Kulishevsky. That's not a foul. And then Maddison here, trying to break into the box. No. Rice gets the ball. And he doesn't really make any real connection with Maddison. I don't understand either of those. Why Spurs were complaining? No idea. Nonetheless, Arsenal up the other end scored a second goal. And it made it even more painful for Spurs. The fact that they did think that they levelled. And now they find themselves even further behind than what they were about 5 minutes ago. As now Werner's gone down, so Werner's the man that is keeping us stopped at the moment, because Ødegaard's back to his feet. He's fine, he's moving about. He's ready to come on, but it looks like Spurs are going to make a change here. And Timo Werner's day might be over. It looks like... I don't know if I could see if it was Brennan Johnson there. It looked like it might have been Brennan Johnson that was getting ready on the sidelines for Tottenham. We will see, of course. I don't know what the feed providers here are trying to show us. They're just showing us loads of angles of the first one, where Kulusevski literally falls over himself. Oh, come on, man. Move on. Brennan Johnson is on, by the way. He's just been brought onto the pitch and replacing Timo Werner. So Werner's day is over. Whatever that was about, I have no idea. Because he went down right after Ødegaard went down, so it must have felt something. There, Werner, and his day is over. So Brennan Johnson is on. Here's Maddison. Out wide. On the right-hand side is Porro. Now, Maddison again. Now, Porro. In between the lines, here's Kulusevski. Back to Bentancur. Arsenal holding them out for the moment. Spurs come through the middle. Kulusevski. Out wide now. Back to Kulusevski again. Into the box it comes. Away by Gabriel. Trossard there tried to clear it away. One back by Spurs pretty quickly as Kulusevski has it now. Good control of the possession here from Spurs. They've actually had more of the possession. Get to that in a moment. Van de Ven. And Arsenal 2-0 up. And they're in a comfortable enough position. Arsenal now break away as Son was dispossessed and Saka goes down. And Mikel Arteta has his hand over his mouth because he cannot believe that wasn't a foul. I don't think it was. But Mikel Arteta needs a bit of needs an Oscar for that type of acting. There's nothing in that. Love the dramatics of this. Managers turned into actors. Bloody Hollywood actors, these managers, when they're asking for decisions at times. Spurs have the throw in on the left hand side. 12 minutes to go in the first half. It is Tottenham 0, Arsenal 2. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg heading into his own net from an Arsenal corner. And then Bukayo Saka on the counter-attack from a Spurs attack. Saka completely unmarked on the opposite end and doubles Arsenal's lead with a nice finish into the bottom left corner. In the last 6 Premier League away results, Arsenal kept clean sheets in all of them. The only game they dropped points away from home in the last 6 was that City game. And they've scored at least 2 goals in all of the other 5. They've already got 2 here this afternoon, and that was the exact scoreline that they beat Spurs here by this time last season. And an own goal by Hugo Lloris, followed by a Martin Ødegaard goal. And Arsenal were 2-0 up in the first half in that one as well. Seems to be rinse and repeat again for the Gunners on their travels. Just across North London, here comes Trossard, want to make it better. Trossard, nice 1-2 touch, but Tomiyasu lost out there as Trossard battles to try and win it back off Højbjerg. Trying to pen Højbjerg in. Sends it down the line, nicked away by Rice. He has it stolen away from him, but Gabriel does really well to win it back. Partey to Saliba. Beautiful stepping in by the Arsenal centre-back there. Knew when to commit. Won the ball back for the Gunners. Saliba. Over the top it goes. Run in behind by Havertz. Chested it down. And then cleared behind Flag might have gone up against Kai Havertz there. It did indeed. The majority of Arsenal's attacks have come down the right-hand side so far, 64 down the right flank, compared to 15% of their attacks have come down the left-hand side, so they're targeting that right flank. Arsenal. Saka having the most joy out of anyone out of that front three so far. Spurs playing behind here. Son. Played on by Højbjerg. Son has to turn back though. No space to run into. So Arsenal get bodies back again. And again, similar idea from Spurs. They find the space in behind, but they just when they get into an area, they just turn back. And then that allows Arsenal to drop in, get back into shape, and close them out. If Spurs are going to try and find these runs in behind, they need to be more direct with it. They need to be quicker. Take more risks. As Bentancur's ushered out of play there. Pretty easily there by, I think that was Thomas Partey was following him through. It was indeed. And that goes out for the Arsenal goal kick. Still update you from the first half in the game at the Vitality Stadium between Bournemouth and Brighton. Battle of the South Coast. Bournemouth 1-up against Brighton. Marcus Senesi's goal. The difference between the two sides in that one, and they're about the same time as us in the 37th minute. And it's still 1-0 to the home side there. Here comes Trossard for the Gunners. Arsenal down the left. Tomiyasu on the overlap. Trossard with a cross. Takes a deflection. Goes behind for the Arsenal corner. So corner for Rice to take. An in-swinger. Getting a bit of abuse from the Spurs fans behind him. And Arsenal piling bodies at that back post. Rice will try and target that area. Let's see if he can get it there. Rice. As they all jump to the front post. Whipped in. Headed on! And in by Kai Havertz. And another corner goal. This time from an Arsenal player. And it's Kai Havertz, the man, to head it in. And Spurs have looked limp defensively from those positions and set pieces. And it's simple, basic footballing stuff that they struggle with. Arsenal so threatening, so good from corners. And Rice with a lovely delivery with a right boot over the head of everyone in there, right through the middle. And all the bodies from Arsenal at the back post flood to the front post, completely destroys any sort of Spurs defending. And up and jumping for it was Kai Havertz above everyone else. And he just heads it in. Really beautiful delivery, pinpoint under the head of Havertz, who just gets a really nice glancing header down into the net. It's easy street for the Gunners. And they could tear apart two of their London rivals in the space of 4 days. Arsenal 3-0 up here. Cruising at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And that's really poor from Spurs again. When we talk about knowing your enemy and knowing what their threats are, it's written in bold, in highlighted letters. Arsenal are amazing from corners. Do your corner defending. Learn how to defend their corners. And so far, Spurs, on 2 really good deliveries, have been no match for Arsenal in those areas. Really no match for them whatsoever. And Arsenal are absolutely storming this North London derby. It was deemed to be competitive before the kick-off. Well, 39 minutes in, it's anything but competitive. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 3. And I don't think Arsenal have been at their most clinical, most threatening, most destroying best. They've not been at their top level. That's what the best teams do. They win when they're not at their best, when they're not on their top level. And they make the opposition look really poor. And Arsenal have made Spurs look really poor defensively here this afternoon. That's a poor pass by Saliba out from the back, and now a chance for Spurs to return. Son trying to play the pass, but Maddison lost his footing. And now Arsenal trying to break, but Declan Rice is not going to run for that one, and Spurs will get it back. But Arsenal, this is the sign of champions. This is a sign of a team that show no fear, show no kind of frailties, really. They don't look scared at all. They look relishing this kind of opportunity. They look absolutely stunning defensively, Arsenal. Spurs just look really kind of blunt-edged in the forward line this afternoon. Son hasn't had a credible chance, really. None of the attackers have had a credible chance. It's their defenders that have actually had the best chances. Tottenham. Here is Christian Romero. To show you as it stands then what this will do to the Premier League table, because this will be interesting. Of course, all the pressure was on Arsenal coming into this one, knowing that City play later, knowing that City have a game in hand, knowing they have to come here and win to try and hold on to that top spot tonight, at least for today. And that is exactly as it seems it will be by the end of the afternoon. This is as it stands. Arsenal jump up to 80 points in the table, and the same number of games as Liverpool below them. They'll be 5 points clear of Liverpool winning this afternoon. So Liverpool down and out of the title race as it stands then, massively. All of their own doing, really. Arsenal leading the way then. 4 points clear they will be of Manchester City, but of course City will still have to play and will have a game in hand. But it will put the pressure on City later on this afternoon when they go to Nottingham Forest, that they would have to respond and win to keep a gap, keep a chance of them going top of the table when they play their game in hand. That is what pressure can do, but we will see whether that will matter to City or not, because it's Manchester City. It probably won't matter, but who knows? That's what this is all about for Arsenal. 2 minutes of the first half to go, plus additional time, and Spurs surely desperate for half-time, or even a goal back would be fantastic, but Brennan Johnson's delivery, headed away by Saliba. Right for the throw-in. Here is Johnson. Not seen much of him since coming onto the field. He's involved there as he can, overstepping the mark there, Maddison, and giving the ball away. It's just those poor moments in possession for Spurs that letting them down at the moment. That's lovely from Arsenal, though. Keep the possession no matter what. They fire it long there to take away the pressure. Spurs were kind of closing in that midfield. Don't forget, more football to come for you in midweek this week. We have the Champions League semi-finals. The first legs of the semi-finals this Tuesday and Wednesday. We start on Tuesday night when Bayern take on Real Madrid. Big chance in behind. Oh, Son skied over the bar. Awful chance. On Tuesday night then we start with Bayern taking on Real Madrid. What a tie that is. On Tuesday night, that's for you at the Allianz Arena. On Tuesday night, and then we head to Signal Iduna Park on Wednesday night as Dortmund take on PSG. So a German Champions League display this midweek in the Champions League. Bayern on Tuesday night against Real Madrid, and Dortmund against PSG on Wednesday night. So that's the Champions League semi-finals for you. Saka trying to play it in behind. Don't forget at half-time we'll run you through all of the weekend scores so far and everything that's happened, including big relegation. We've had our first relegation of the season in the Premier League yesterday, and we'll talk about that at half-time. Well, So we've entered the last... we've surpassed the 45-minute mark, and we'll have 6 added minutes at the end of this first half. So a bit more to go before the first half comes to a close. 6 minutes that I don't think Spurs fans will be enjoying. Although they are on the ball, Tottenham. Højbjerg trying to close down this already quite big deficit. As Johnson runs into Ben White. White trying to play it out, but he's waited for it a bit too long there, Kai Havertz, and Bentancur comes and nicks it and has it back for Spurs. Kulusevski on the right hand side, driving towards the defence, squares it across, looking for Son, who was well marshalled by William Saliba. And Arsenal trying to play out there. Spurs high in their press. Gabriel does well to find the option in Declan Rice, and that will bounce behind for a goal kick of a Spurs player. Well, Arsenal, as I mentioned earlier, have won this exact fixture 2-0 last season after Hugo Lloris's own goal on Ødegaard's first half strike. However, they have not triumphed in consecutive away league games against Spurs since a run of 3 between 1987 and 1988. This will be the first time they've done back-to-back away wins at Tottenham in over 30 odd years. Which would be even better news for the Gunners. Ødegaard, the back heel on running was Havertz, plays it off to Saka now. Arsenal look really fluid. Ødegaard now again, trying to squeeze it through for Saka, who'd made the run in between. Partey. As Gabriel with the ball. Out to Ben White, but the flag's gone up against Ben White there, so that attack comes to a pretty quick end. Now, one thing that Spurs haven't done in this first half, they thought they did. They had the ball in the back of the net. But VAR quickly ruled out that Spurs equaliser. They've scored in 8 of the last 25 Premier League home games. Their third longest such run in the competition after 2 streaks of 29 between January 2016 and August 2017 and April 2011 and October 2012. So they want to keep that home scoring run going. They need to find the net either in the last few minutes of this first half or the whole of the second half. But so far, Arsenal look really strong and one of the best defensive team in the league, holding them out at the moment. Here's Kulusevski. Ben Davies. Maddison now. Kulusevski looking for the cross. Falls to Porro. Headed away again. Although a bit of physicality from Spurs wins them the ball back. Bentancur. Now Maddison. Trying to eke the space but runs into trouble. And Arsenal will not get the free kick. They said they got the ball there. But Arsenal will have the ball away with Havertz. And that will be a foul on Kai Havertz by Christian Romero. Well, Spurs haven't kept a clean sheet in any of their last 13 Premier League games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Their longest run without a home shutout since September 2003, when they went 15 games without a clean sheet at home. They're only 2 games away from that now, after conceding 3 in this first half alone. Rice, tried to squeeze to thread it through for Saka there, but couldn't spin there. Saka closed down. So into the last 90 seconds of this first half. Johnson trying to get Spurs forward. Need to get forward here, Spurs. Porro on the run. Down the right hand side, up against Trossard. Trying to break past Trossard. Comes into the box with a cross. And Ben White heads it behind for the corner. Positive from Porro there. Got Spurs up the pitch. Half time at the Vitality Stadium, and it's Bournemouth 1, Brighton 0. We'll get to talking about that game in a moment, at half-time as well. So a corner for Spurs. A goal here would be fantastic before half-time. Well, the corner's easily headed away. Kulishevsky, lovely spin. Right, plays it low across the box. The shot is deflected and behind by Brennan Johnson. Another corner will come. That's really good individual play from Dejan Kulishevsky. Spins away, and then Brennan Johnson has the first shot blocked, and then the second one deflected behind for the corner. It was well off target anyway, nonetheless. And this will be the last action, surely, of the first half. Maddison with the corner. Again, headed away by Havertz to the front post. And Højbjerg under pressure now. And keep Spurs up the pitch, give them one last chance in this first half. Højbjerg breaks away from Saka, puts it into the box, and headed away by Rice pretty easily there. And there's the half-time whistle. A pretty drab first half from Tottenham, really. Defensively exposed, and really very little up front. That's first half without a shot on target for Tottenham. It's easy street for the Gunners, who are cruising to another big victory, and a third successive victory that would see them 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League table before Manchester City play later this afternoon. Big result, big scoreline at half-time. It is Tottenham 0, Arsenal 3 at the break.
Catch me if I fall. I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time in the North London derby, and it's pretty cruise control for Arsenal at the break when they lead by 3-0. In our other 2 o'clock kickoff, Bournemouth leading Brighton by a goal to 0. We'll run through the stats of both of those games in the first halves in just a moment. We'll bring you the stats graphic up for the North London derby in a moment, but we've already had 7 games yesterday in the Premier League. It all started at lunchtime at the London Stadium, where Liverpool put another dampener onto their title hopes, a massive one, and could curtail their title chances completely with a 2-2 draw away at West Ham United. They'd went behind in that game. Liverpool, they levelled, took the lead, and then dropped the lead away again. All sorts of emotions there in that one in East London. 2-2 it finished. A draw also between Fulham and Crystal Palace yesterday as well. Fulham took the lead through Rodrigo Muniz, but then Jeffrey Schlupp equalised 3 minutes from time to keep that very good run of Crystal Palace going. A draw, quite uncharacteristically, for Burnley away from home. A big result for Burnley on the road for them yesterday at Old Trafford. Anthony thought he'd scored the winner for Manchester United in the 79th minute to give them the lead before Zeki Amdouni's penalty levelled it for Burnley just 3 minutes before the 90 minutes. VAR was involved again, and Manchester United once again giving away late penalties to really drop them from good positions. Bruno Fernandes, who had one of his best games in a Manchester United shirt yesterday, but his team more or less let him down. Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. Big news in the North East, not for the team at home, for the visiting side. Newcastle 5-1 winners against Sheffield United. Sheffield United's relegation was confirmed yesterday. They now sit 10 points adrift of safety, with only 9 points left to play for, officially relegating Sheffield United back to the Championship. And they have 16 points. They can only get a possible 25 points from their games this season. 3 games to go. And that is really, really bad. Only 3 wins. They've already beaten the Premier League record of most goals conceded in a 38-game season. They could beat the record for the most goals conceded in a Premier League season, full stop. If they concede 4 more goals in their last 3 games, that will bring them over 100 goals. Swindon Town are the only side to have conceded 100 goals in Premier League history in 1992-93 season. Sheffield United only 3 goals away from that, equaling that record. Could make it even worse if they concede 4 of 101. 97 goals conceded for Sheffield United, and 5 yesterday doesn't help them. 5-1 defeat for Newcastle, who themselves needed that victory. That brought them up to 7th. We'll run you through the table as well in a moment. Wolves beating Luton, putting another dampener to Luton's hopes of staying in the division. Ahead of Nottingham Forest game today. Nottingham Forest, if they get a massive result against Manchester City, could find themselves a good few points clear of the relegation zone. Hee-Chan Hwang and Totti Gomez scored both goals for Wolves before Carlton Morris got a late consolation, where it could have put Luton really back on the playing foot, but couldn't get them back on level terms at Luton late on, and they lost by 2-1. Third successive home win for Everton, who are in fantastic form at the moment, and Everton winning by 1-0 against Brentford yesterday. Idrissa Gueye with the only goal. That's absolutely wonderful from Everton. 3 home wins, 3 clean sheets at home. Incredible form for Sean Dyche's side, who's doing a miracle there, although their goal was their only shot on target in that game, interestingly enough. What a definition of being clinical, taking your chance when it comes, and Everton did so. 1-0 winners there. And a dramatic ending to the game between Aston Villa and Chelsea. Villa actually 2-0 up in the first half. Mark Cucurella's own goal, and Morgan Rogers with a second to give Villa a 2-goal lead. Noni Madueke and Conor Gallagher then scored both goals for Chelsea in the second half, before an own goal from Robin Olsen denied Chelsea a winning goal later on. Disallowed by VAR in the dying moments, and Chelsea could have had 3 points on the road at Villa Park, but they couldn't indeed. VAR ruling them out there. 2-2 it finished. We'll bring you up to date with the table of the Premier League table in a moment. Let's just run you through the first halves in our 2 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. Bournemouth 1 up against Brighton. Bournemouth the better side on the afternoon. Marcus Senesi's goal leading them. They've actually had less possession, Bournemouth, a lot less possession. Only 29% of the possession for Bournemouth. 6 shots, 2 on target to Brighton's 5 shots, 1 on target. So Bournemouth edging it on that front at the moment. But deservedly in front are the Cherries. And Tottenham 0, Arsenal 3. And let's just give you those stats then. We can bring up the stats graphic then on the screen to tell you what the stats are. There we are. And look at those stats. Massively interesting stats. And it's really the definition of being Arsenal at their clinical best. But Spurs completely the opposite. Spurs have had more possession, 72% possession, so dominating the ball, Tottenham. Arsenal with 4 shots to Spurs' 8, so Spurs have had double the amount of chances that Arsenal have had, but none of them on target for Spurs. That first half, no shots on target for Tottenham in that first half, compared to Arsenal's 2, which they scored from both. 5 corners to Spurs, 2 for Arsenal, so they've scored from both corners as well. 1 own goal and 1 goal by Kai Havertz. And the XG's better for Spurs. Spurs have had the better chances. And the XG is actually 0.85, not 0.9. They've rounded it up. A bit of a mistake, but who cares? 0.9 to 0.7, so Arsenal creating less the better chances. Spurs creating better chances than Arsenal based on XG, but nothing clear-cut really from either team. But Arsenal taking their chances when they come, and they now that's why they lead by 3-0 at the break. Arsenal at their clinical best. Right, let's just show you the table then as it stands then. With Bournemouth winning and Arsenal winning at the moment as it stands, and with yesterday's results all taken into consideration, this is how the Premier League table looks. The top half as it stands, Arsenal 4 points clear in the lead of Manchester City, who have a game in hand and still to play today over Arsenal. So City, if they play level games, could find themselves 2 points clear at the top, but that's all still to come. Liverpool in third on 75. They've played 35 games. Villa picking up a point yesterday in their 35th game of the season against Chelsea. 67 points for them. They're 7 points clear of Spurs, who, as it stands, losing, will now not have a chance at going level on points with Aston Villa, because Spurs are dropping points here, are losing today. Aston Villa picking up an extra point than them. So even with Spurs' 2 games in hand, they will not be level on points with Villa come those times that they're on level games. Spurs on 60 in 5th. Then Manchester United a bit further down in 6th, 6 points off Spurs, with having played a game more than Tottenham, on 54 United. Then 53 for Newcastle, 49 for West Ham in 8th. Chelsea on 48 in 9th, and Bournemouth as it stands jumping up to 48 points in 10th. Bournemouth, you never know, could have an outside shout at maybe a European place. That is a bit optimistic, but you never know. You never know in this day and age. Anything can happen. Into the bottom half, and Wolves make up the top of the bottom. Wolves in 11th on 46 points. Brighton have fallen off a cliff, really, from their push for Europe. They now find themselves on 44 points, losing at the moment in 12th place. Fulham in 13th on 43, and Crystal Palace in 14th on 40 points. A big collation of points for them recently has got them pushed well away from relegation. Same with Everton, who are safe now. They are mathematically safe. They cannot be relegated. 11 points clear of the bottom 3 with only 9 points left to play for, so they cannot be relegated now, Everton, which is fantastic news for them. Brentford are also on that front. They also cannot be relegated. They're 10 points clear with only 9 points left to play for, so they're safe. Brentford is between Forest, Luton and Burnley. Out of 2 of those 3 teams will find themselves in the Championship next season. Forest third in 17th, just outside the relegation zone by a point. Better goal difference as well in the teams below them, and have that game still to play. They get anything out of that game against City today, that will be huge for Nottingham Forest. That's what they're fighting for. Luton make up the bottom 3 alongside Burnley. Luton and Burnley on 25 and 24 points. They can still stay up, one of those 2 teams, and then Sheffield United, who were officially condemned to the Championship yesterday after their 5-1 thrashing against Newcastle. There we are. That is all the updates from the Premier League over the last day or 2, and with the second half on the way from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs are 3-0 down at half-time, and they need to get any sort of goal at the start of the second half to give them any sort of hope at getting anything out of this game. It's minimal indeed. Arsenal, with the best defensive record, only conceded 26 goals all season in 34 games. They concede less than 1 goal per game, Arsenal. Spurs are going to have a monster of a second half if they're going to get it back into this one. Second half from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is on the way next.
Catch me if I fall.
Messi, I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny.
Welcome back to Premier League Live for this North London derby. It's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 3 at half time, and Arsenal cruising once again in another game, and they look to be really doing everything they can to give themselves the best goal difference they possibly can for the rest of the title race. I don't think it'll come down to goal difference, but if it does, Arsenal will have a massive advantage on City. 11 goals better off than Manchester City in that goal difference race at the moment. They've scored 5 more goals and conceded 6 less goals than Manchester City this season up to this point, and they've bettered their goal difference by 8 in the last 2 game and a half alone. So they're massive for Arsenal, although it's the points that they want and the points they are getting. And Spurs, they're not getting anything. But at the moment, they're going to make another change, and it's Pap Sarr that's going to come on, who's going to replace Rodrigo Bentancur for that half-time sub. So a change in the middle for Spurs, maybe a change in fortune as well. And Declan Rice gets us back underway for the second half of the North London derby, where Arsenal cruising their way to another 3 points, another big 3 points, and another massive victory in a London derby. Seem to love those London derbies this season, Arsenal. Battling there. Arsenal a bit under pressure, but dealt with that. Well, this would be the biggest result for Arsenal in the Premier League at Tottenham since the biggest victory they've had in the Premier League era. They've never won by 3 goals or more at Tottenham's ground in Premier League history. They have scored 3 goals, but they've never won by a 3-goal margin. Trossard, Rice, the one who added to that 3-goal margin, but stepping in there was Sarr, who puts Van de Ven under pressure. He has to fire it long, and Arsenal will get it back again. And I think half the stadium's emptied. I don't think they're ready to come back. I don't think they want to come back. That's the foul on Martin Odegaard there. We'll give Arsenal the free kick. And last time Arsenal scored 3 goals away at Tottenham was back in a 3-1 win in September 2000. Or sorry, not the last time they won when scoring 3 goals was a 3-1 win back in September 2007. Last time they scored 3 goals, they actually ended up drawing 3-3 in that occasion back on the 20th of April 2011. That time round. They've only scored more than 3 goals once in the Premier League era at Tottenham, and that was in November 2004 when they scored 5 goals in a 5-4 win. Tomiyasu, the header from that free kick, but over the bar. So there you go. So Arsenal in unknown territory in a North London derby away in a North London derby in recent decades, recent years. Arsenal pretty faultless away from home this calendar year. They've actually not lost away from home in 2024 in the Premier League. All 7 previous Premier League fixtures away from home this calendar year, they have won or drawn. They've won 6 of them, drawn just the one away at Manchester City, and they've kept a clean sheet in 6 of those 7. The only goal they've conceded away from home is away at Nottingham Forest when they won by 2-1 with a late Taiwo Awoniyi goal in that one. So more of a consolation goal than anything. Arsenal. So they've pretty much been loving away games this season, especially in 2024. And that's why they have the best away record this season. Before this game, they'd won 11 of their 17 away games, Arsenal, and picked up more points than anyone else away from home, and 36 points. That's better than Manchester City on 35 and Liverpool on 33. So The top three, once again, the usual suspects from those. Considering, though, Arsenal have played more away games than City this season, 16 compared to 17, so one more. But definitely a very good away record, Arsenal. The best in the league. There's a foul there on Ben Davies, so Spurs will get a free kick. Around the halfway line, not able to do much with them, though. Spurs' home record this season, it's not too bad themselves, but one thing they do, they haven't drawn a home game this season. They're the only side in the Premier League to have failed to draw a home game this season. They've won 12 and lost 4 of their 16 home games up to this point. They're the only team not to have drawn at home, which is fascinating. It's not good for the fans because they know that they're either going to win or lose. They're not going to get anything out of games if they don't win them, which is not comfort when you're at home. Here's Kulusevski. Tried to chip it across. Blocked off that time by Gabriel. You go again. Kulusevski in. And a header over the bar there from Romero. Now again, it's been looking threatening from those headers. Had one against the post, one wide in that first half. 2 chances for Romero and another one of those where he met his head met the cross. This time just heads it over. And he's missed a few good chances in this game to try and score for Tottenham. I've mentioned it. The Spurs defenders have actually been the most threatening of the players in that Tottenham team today. The forwards have really not been doing the business. Goal at the Vitality Stadium. It's just gone from bad to worse for Brighton, who now find themselves 2-0 down. It's Bournemouth have doubled their lead. So they now lead by 2-0, and Brighton's hopes of Europe next season, back-to-back European campaigns, coming to a pretty drab conclusion. They will find themselves with 4 games to go, a good 9 points adrift of Newcastle United in 7th, which will be pretty disappointing for Brighton. Bournemouth consolidating their position, and maybe they might have an outside chance. Who knows? Europe could be on the horizon for Bournemouth, who lead by 2-0. That second goal by Enes Unal. So a second goal for Bournemouth. Saliba to Ben White. One thing I was surprised about in that first half was how little possession Arsenal had. Odegaard gives it away there. Here's Kulusevski trying to break through for Spurs. Runs into trouble. Wanted a penalty, but Arsenal just defending their box. Gabriel kind of telling off Dejan Kulusevski there for going down in that position. Again, it's Arsenal's giving the ball away cheaply. Yeah, it's very good defending from Gabriel. Fantastic defending from Partey and Gabriel there. And Kulusevski went down a bit too easily. Here's Trossard. Havertz on the run on the outside. Havertz chops it across. Saka! What a save! Completely free was Bukayo Saka. And Vicario with a wonderful save to deny him. I mean, completely nowhere to be seen. This is awful from Spurs. Just one simple chop back from Kai Havertz, and Bukayo Saka, not a single Spurs player marking Bukayo Saka in the box. And what a fantastic save by the Spurs keeper, because he's denied them conceding a 4th goal there. Wonderful save by Vicario. Will be an Arsenal corner though, which doesn't make it any easier for Spurs, to be honest. Already conceded from 2 corners, Spurs here so far, so 3rd time's a charm. Arsenal, that similar technique. Lots of bodies at the back post. That'll flood to the front post. 6 at the back post at the moment. They'll all come to the front post. Muncie, when the delivery comes in. Here it comes, front post. Spurs get the header on that one. Clear it away. Only as far as Odegaard though. Trossard, sorry, he runs into trouble. Spurs now trying to break. Here's Kulusevski, closed down. Again, one back by Tomiyasu, who can try and break down the left, but Porro in the cover blocking out Tomiyasu, but plays it straight to Odegaard, does Porro. Odegaard finds Tomiyasu, and the flag's up actually against Takahiro Tomiyasu, so it will be a Spurs free kick. Again, Spurs give it straight back to Arsenal here. Rice. Romero there battling with Tomiyasu, and Arsenal will get the throw in. Doesn't look like Spurs are really trying to bounce back. I think Spurs at the moment just want to try and not make this an embarrassment. Arsenal doing a pretty good job at trying to do that. Here's Tomiyasu. The throw in. Down the line. Bouncing all the way through. Spurs try to play it out. Given away by Gabriel. Sarr trying to get Brennan Johnson on the break. Up against Ben White. Brennan Johnson beats past White. Still going. White trying to battle back, but does him again. Turning White inside out. Here's Brennan Johnson, and continued and won Spurs the corner, as White had to put it behind. Really good pace from Brennan Johnson there. Maddison to take this corner. Romero's in there again. Keep an eye on him. Maddison with a delivery. And headed away by Gabriel. Spurs recycle it though. Here's Kulishevsky. Finds Son on the right flank. Son closed down pretty easily. Has to go back to Porro. It's not dynamic enough from Spurs again. Pretty one-dimensional. When they move it, it's not quick enough. Højbjerg there running into trouble. Well, one back by Sarr though. Kulishevsky now finds Porro, who tried to sneak one past David Raya, but headed off target there and wide for a goal kick. Seeing the sights of the Tottenham fans, shaking their heads, arms folded. They know what team was coming here, but not this type of result. Here comes Saku, breaks away from his man pretty easily. Saka now finds Trossard. Trossard into the box. Trossard! Not allowed to get the shot off there, blocked by Romero. Tomiyasu wins it back. Partey. Played on by Rice. Rice through the lines, finds Odegaard. Lovely turn of pace as Havertz breaking through into the box, but the foul will go the way of Spurs, and that will be a Tottenham free kick inside their own 18-yard box. Saka does well in the right place at the right time. Odegaard chips into the box. Havertz couldn't take it in control and just bounced away from him. Went behind for the Spurs goal kick, but good opportunity there again. Spurs just giving it away pretty simply there. Gabriel to Partey. Arsenal just no need for urgency from Arsenal. They're just passing it around, just taking their time, not rushing things. Here comes Saka though, using his pace down the right flank, chops it back to Odegaard. Odegaard now plays it on to White. White in the box, looking for Saka. Would have been an absolute wonder of a goal, but cut out there by Spurs again in the box. Arsenal, really nice approach play once more. Porro, his ball cut out, and Kulishevsky couldn't pick it up, and Rice there, a brick wall to win it back. Trossard, round the corner, finds Havertz. Has to go back though to Tomiyasu. Now Kai Havertz. They're just taking their time now, Arsenal. Spurs still without a shot on target as well in the game. 10 shots, none of them on target. Saka, let that one get away from him. Spurs can have it back now with Son, but not many forward runs again from Spurs. I mean, I've actually been really disappointed with the way that Spurs have played up front this afternoon. The majority of their chances or their opportunities have come from sloppy Arsenal defending or sloppy Arsenal play. They've not really created anything, Spurs. There's not a moment where I can remember that Spurs have carved open Arsenal or kind of created a really good chance against them. This game, they've looked so blunt, so flat up front. Lack of any real creativity. And it's not that the players up front can't do it, because of course they can. We've seen it multiple times before. They can do it. Just today, they've been really easily defended. Here's Odegaard. Finds Saka. Making that diagonal infield run. Saka again. Tried to come across. Run into trouble, but does stay on the ball. Odegaard now. White. Back to Odegaard. Through the line. Saka there to carry the ball and to win the corner. Again, that right-hand side is absolutely down. Really just... It's like second nature to them. From Odegaard, Saka and Ben White in that right flank. They just know exactly where each other's going to be at any given time. And the pass, the kind of cohesion, the fluidity is just pure perfect. Saka with this corner then. Right-hand side. Going to have to stop for the moment because there's a Spurs player down. Michael Oliver blows the whistle to stop the corner from being taken. James Maddison went down for some reason. Say it again. Oh, come on. Just seeing the replay of it. Tomiyasu literally just trying to hold him off, and Maddison any sort of contact and he's thrown himself to the floor there. Corner comes in, all the way over everyone in there, and we'll roll out of play for a goal kick. First time we've seen the corner from Arsenal not look threatening at all. Easily dealt with. It's actually the lack of a good delivery that let them down that time. Arsenal going to make a change then. Both teams are going to make changes, but Arsenal first. Trossard's going to come off. He's going to come off and he's going to be replaced by Gabriel Martinelli. So a straight swap on that left-hand side for Arsenal. And Spurs making a double substitution. It looks like Richarlison and Bissouma, I think, are coming on. That is. They're going to be replacing Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and James Maddison. So double change from Spurs. That's 4 in total they've made. Tottenham. Arsenal there first. Spurs stretching for the ball there. They do win it back. And I think Ange Postecoglou's made those changes to really switch it up front. Oh, that's a poor pass by Raya! And it's slashed upon and scores! Does Christian Romero. Awful from this Arsenal keeper. No clean sheet for him. And Spurs get a goal. Gifted to them by Arsenal. Awful from the Arsenal keeper. That is dreadful. Dreadful. Just a simple pass back from Saliba. And Raya. What is that? What is that? He tries to chip the two Spurs players that are pressing him. And he completely messes it up. That's shocking. Shocking. Shocking there. And this could be even more threatening than initially thought. This could be properly problematic for Arsenal. Because now Spurs have the belief maybe they could get back into this game. Here comes Son. Richarlison closed down pretty easily there. But maybe it's the kick up the backside that Arsenal needed. Maybe a bit of complacency setting in. And that's just given them a bit of something to be wary of. Not to be too complacent. But Spurs can still threaten. That's all of their own doing there, really. Odegaard now finds Havertz on the overlap. The flag's gone up actually against Kai Havertz. Thought he'd won a corner there, but the flag went up against him. And that moment of madness from David Raya could spark Tottenham into life. It's got the crowd going. Here's Brennan Johnson on the right hand side. Johnson takes on Tomiyasu. Brennan Johnson looking to cut it back for Richarlison, but Arsenal bodies in the box and Rice clears it away, but the pressure starting to apply. Starting to be applied by Spurs and starting to be felt by Arsenal. Romero again. Sarr now to Brennan Johnson with a cross. Headed away. And then they can clear it away there. As now Martinelli tries to go one-on-one with Van de Ven. And Van de Ven just goes over. And Arsenal give away another free kick. Here's Brennan Johnson. Being more direct now, Spurs. Richarlison in behind, but Raya was quick to that one. Knew it was coming. And made the dive and made the save. It's really, that goal from absolutely nowhere has got Spurs believing. It's exactly the opposite of what Arsenal needed. Fine margins of they could have had a fourth goal earlier in the game. Arsenal really would have been, well, dead and buried this game, but that goal from Spurs just closes the gap, closes the deficit, gives Spurs a bit of belief heading into the final quarter of this game. Although here's Saka to try and restore that 3-goal lead for Arsenal. Saka finds the gap, couldn't find the finish as Odegaard receives it back, and it will roll out from a Spurs player for an Arsenal throw on the right hand side. Well, that is the first goal that Arsenal have conceded away from home since that game against Nottingham Forest in the Premier League back on the 30th of January. Almost 3 months since the last time Arsenal had conceded away from home in the Premier League. Incredible stuff. As Spurs give it away there at the back. Odegaard really working hard and tried to go for the cut back, blocked and out for a Spur or an Arsenal throw. Really hard in his endeavour there was Martin Odegaard. He's battling for the ball, wins it back, and wins it back twice off Spurs. So we're a bit easy going in their own 18-yard box, and Odegaard tried to pounce on that and almost got a good opportunity out of it. As Arsenal keep it up the pitch. The right hand side throw in comes into the box, and that one just over the head of everyone in there and straight into the hands of Vicario in the Spurs goal. At half time, I don't think anybody would have thought that we would be going for a grandstand finish here in this one. Maybe we could. Maybe the final twist in the tail hasn't been felt yet of this North London derby that always excites, always delivers, always shows us a box office match. So far it's been pretty comfortable for Arsenal in that way, and they've been let off the hook multiple times by Spurs. Maybe Arsenal just need to up their level, up their gear, to just make sure that they can see out the 3 points here. Because their rivals, Manchester City, kick off in about an hour's time, and they would love to have top spot by the end of tonight. Anything other than an Arsenal win would give City the opportunity to go top with a victory at the City ground later this afternoon. Spurs try to play it through the middle there, and a bit too much for Richarlison. Kulishevsky's stayed down. Referee's just checking up on him. See it here again. Again, there's not much in that either. They're both going for the ball there. And they both have a right to go for the ball, and they both got a touch on the ball, so I don't think there's anything in that. For me, 20 minutes to go. In this North London derby, it's Spurs 1, Arsenal 3. Raya going along with his kick there. Making sure that kick was not threatening in any way. Havertz on the spin. Partey. Gabriel finds White. Now Ødegaard. Havertz dropped a bit deeper for the moment. It's Declan Rice that's more advanced. I think they're going to switch back any second now. Here's Ødegaard. Has to go all the way back to his keeper. He might be feeling the pressure. Didn't show it there though. Here's Tomiyasu. Spurs fans getting those gasps in the way. And Raya picked up the ball there, but nothing doing from that front. Kulishevsky now finds Richarlison. Richarlison's ball in, took a deflection, but might have been awkward for the Arsenal keeper, but he'd adjusted well and dealt with it well. Saka on the spin again, taken out. Referee said the Spurs player got the ball there, Ben Davies, so no foul as we play on. Romero through the lines, finds Davies. Saka tracking back there. Here's Son, wide on that left. Very far wide is Heung-min Son there. Here's Yves Bissouma. Sarr. Cross, switching it out to Brennan Johnson on the right. Johnson. And go on a battle there to try and take on the Arsenal defender. And Martinelli almost playing him team into trouble there. Goodness me, as Rice tries to come forward, but well covered over by Van de Ven. And Arsenal under more pressure at the moment. Sitting a bit deeper. Maybe, just maybe. You never know. You never know. Premier League is bizarre as it is at times. Nothing's certain. Even with around 17 minutes to go and a 3-goal lead that they had, nothing is a certainty. Here's Porro. Whips a ball in. And that cross, not as threatening as it initially thought it would have been. Easily caught by David Raya. He sends his Arsenal team long, with the Spurs committing more bodies forward. There's space here for Martinelli to break. Martinelli. Havertz is going to join him. Martinelli's going to go himself. Try to square it across in the end. And Spurs getting them in a mix-up. Almost put themselves into trouble there, Tottenham. And Arsenal can't retrieve it. Kulishevsky. Again, the Arsenal defence coming up trumps. It's Partey though. Gives it away, but the flag actually went up against Richarlison. Yeah. I mean, Richarlison's complaining that it wasn't a foul, but he didn't give it for a foul, the referee. He gave it for him being offside, which he was. Can't have any complaints there, Richarlison. He was in an offside position when the ball was played to Thomas Partey, so that means that he was kind of not able to win the ball back, otherwise it would have been an Arsenal free kick, which it ended up being. Saka. I think Arsenal would love another goal here. Goal that would really would put the game to bed. Partey. Across to Gabriel. Across to the box. Martinelli now. Going to find that space. Try to play it on the Rice, but blocked out by Spurs. Strange kick by Gabriel. Nice for Richarlison on the ball. It will be a free kick to Tottenham, as Richarlison wins the free kick. Declan Rice getting a bit frustrated. And referee's going to have a chat with the midfielder. He's not going to give him a yellow card. He's just going to have a chat with both players there to calm their frustrations. Spurs get the free kick. Final 15 minutes. Another free kick will go up Spurs' way. Tomiyasu deemed to have committed a foul there. Arsenal not particularly happy about that one, but I don't think they can have many complaints. So Spurs with a free kick. Goal here would be absolutely ridiculous. It would be crazy. And would set us up for a grandstand finish. Porro to take the free kick. Whips it in. Bounce around. And cleared away easily by Arsenal. No Spurs threat there at all from that free kick. It's cleared away for a Spurs throw. Just inside the Arsenal half. Porro to Brennan Johnson. There's a come-in field, but the referee says no foul. As now on the break is Martinelli, who was pulled down there by Kulishevsky, and a free kick will go Arsenal's way, and a yellow card will come the way of Dejan Kulishevsky. Yeah. It's a poor foul. Cynical one from Kulishevsky. Knows that Martinelli's going to have a free run in massive amount of space, and Kulishevsky just shoves him over. Pretty easy decision for the referee to make there. First yellow card of the afternoon goes the way of Kulishevsky. Here is Dejan Kulishevsky for Spurs. It's all about Arsenal getting through this period. Spurs feel comfortable, feel confident, feel that they can get something. A goal here would be absolutely send this place into delirium. Because from a nigh on impossible position of 3-0 down at half time, Spurs could find themselves back in it with a chance to level the game, but you need that second goal first if they're going to try and do that. Here's Brennan Johnson. Try and threaten. Chips across in. Raya coming for it, and Raya was right to come for it because he made a good, decent catch ahead of Heung-min Son there. Spurs, playing it around at the back there. Could have found themselves in danger, but dealt with it. It's a long ball down the right-hand side. Brennan Johnson to chase. Johnson seems to be their main out ball at the moment for Spurs. Down that right flank again. Chops back inside. Tomiyasu chips it across. And again, the cross is easy for David Raya to catch. But Spurs finding those spaces down that right-hand side. Brennan Johnson, their main outlet at this moment in time for Tottenham. Saka goes down there, gets a free kick. Yeah, he just stepped away from Ben Davies. Davies just took him out. It is a foul. Ten minutes to go in this North London derby. A comeback, still a long stretch for Spurs, but when there's a will, there's a way. When there's a chance, there's always an opportunity. But Arsenal trying to make sure that there is no opportunity, there is no chance, and Saka again doing really well to get that free kick out of Ben Davies, and another yellow card is going to come the way of a Spurs player, and this time it is Ben Davies, the Welsh international, that's going to see a card. Saliba playing the ball down the line, and Saka really good, doesn't take a touch, just lets the ball roll past him and knows the challenge is going to come from Ben Davies and wins that free kick really smartly there. Bukayo Saka keeps Arsenal up the pitch, and a possible chance for them to score themselves here in an attacking area. It's a bit early to go to the corner flag, especially when you're 2 goals up. Rice to take this free kick then. Whips it into the box. Punched in the air by Vicario. Probably could have caught that. Odegaard trying to spin it back into the danger mix. Spurs can't clear it away. Saka brings it down on the right. Back to White. Now Rice. Odegaard goes down. It will be another free kick. Porro this time committing the foul. This is probably smart from Arsenal, just to make sure that they keep the ball up the pitch and keep it as far away from their goal as possible, and win those couple of free kicks. Breaks the rhythm of the game as well in the process. Doesn't allow Spurs to gather momentum. Really smart play by Arsenal. And Rice to take this free kick once again. A chance for a delivery. This time chipped into the box again. Flicked on, glanced across. Martinelli took the shot but blocked away and cleared away. Son trying to get Spurs on the counter, but taken down there by Thomas Partey. And a cynical foul, but a smart one to do if you're Thomas Partey, and he gets another he gets a yellow card. His first of the season for that one. It's his first of the season because he's been injured the majority of it. That's why he's in the book. Bissouma. Spurs again. Almost threading it through. Slip there in the box. Rice onto Havertz. Oh, as Gabriel clears it long. Could have been in a difficult position there. Was Gabriel. Dealt with it. Bissouma. To the left. Chested down there by Son. Bodies in the box for Spurs. Well marshalled though. Sarr with a cross. Threatening one. That's cleared away, and the Player went down there for Spurs. Referee says no penalty. Spurs determined that it was. Højbjerg's gone down, stayed down. As another cross comes in, Raya up and grabs. VAR will check, of course. Jared Gillett. We'll see the replay. It's cleared away. I think that's a penalty to me. I think that's a penalty. Rice goes to kick for the ball and he actually kicks the inside of the leg of Ben Davies. So I think this is going to be a penalty. And VAR have recommended an on-field review. So Jared Gillett telling Michael Oliver to come to the screen to make sure to check his initial decision of no penalty. I think it's a penalty. Initially I couldn't tell. But from the replay, Rice kicks through the man. Doesn't get any of the ball, Rice. The ball's well away. He's going to kick the ball and he's nowhere near it. The referee has one look and points to the spot. Only needed one look at it, Michael Oliver. And the decision is a penalty. So, late drama in the North London derby once again. Rice with a foul on Ben Davies. And a chance. A chance for Spurs. A moment of madness has let Arsenal down again. Could they find themselves within one goal of being pegged all the way back here? 3-0 up at half time. And Spurs now have the chance to make it 3-2 with 4 minutes to go. And all the pressure on the shoulders of their captain, Heung-min Son. And this will be a nervy ending to this North London derby. Son, his last 5 penalties have all been scored. And have all been, 4 of which to the keeper's right. One of those right down the middle. Raya up against Son. He made the mistake for the first goal conceded. Can he redeem himself, Raya? Or will Son give Spurs even more hope of a comeback? Silence around the Spurs stadium. Son steps up and scores! Lovely penalty. Raya had no chance. Perfect penalty from the Spurs captain, who did not let the pressure of that moment crumble him. And that is another mistake by Arsenal. A preventable moment. But Spurs make the most of it and capitalise upon it. And Son with a penalty. This will be a massive grandstand ending to this North London derby. Spurs 2, Arsenal 3. Strap yourselves in, because this will be one ending to be remembered, I'm sure. Spurs within touching distance of a possible opportunity to destroy Arsenal's 3-goal lead, but not only that, destroy their hopes of a title. What motivation. What is that? Just saw an incident there with Richarlison and Gabriel. There's nothing in that. I mean, there's just no need for all this shit. Sorry for swearing, but it's just... Get on with the game! We're having an amazing game here, and there's no need to stop it for this rubbish. Jakub Kiwior is coming on here, by the way. It's going to be the Arsenal captain, Martin Odegaard, who's coming off. So Mikel Arteta's certainly worried. An extra defensive body on the pitch for Arsenal. Tottenham also made a change in the process there. Giovanni Lo Celso has come onto the pitch, and he's replaced Ben Davies, who won the penalty for Spurs. So Lo Celso for Davies. So an extra attacker for Spurs and an extra defender for Arsenal. Maybe, just maybe, one last opportunity Spurs to rescue this. From an eye on impossible position, Lusaka's done really well there to win Arsenal a corner. Off Bissouma. Incredible game again. Why do we ever doubt it? Every single time it delivers, the North London derby. Saka to take this corner. Left-footed delivery. Headed on and headed off the line. And behind by Van de Ven for the corner to Arsenal, but could have been heading in. See this again. It's two Spurs heads. Was it Romero? It was Romero with the header at the front post, and then Van de Ven headed off the line at the back post. And Arsenal will have a corner on the other side this time, the left-hand side, which Declan Rice will take. And we're about to find out how long will be added on at the end of this game. 90 minutes up. And we will have another 6 added minutes. Corner from Rice. From post. Oh! Just headed away, and then Vicario gathers, but it will be a Spurs free kick in any case. 6 more minutes for Spurs to conjure up a comeback of all comebacks in a North London derby. You never know. This is fantastic stuff. And from 3-0 down at half-time, we now find ourselves into added time of this second half, with Spurs with a realistic hope of taking something from this game. Goodness me. Bissouma. Now Van de Ven. Son now on the left-hand side. Bodies in the box for Spurs, but lots of Arsenal bodies to meet them. Kulusevski. Bissouma. Now Porro. Porro with a delivery. Fizzed across, looking for Richarlison, but easily gathered by David Raya, the Arsenal keeper. Bit of time wasting won't be much harm for Arsenal at this late stage. Raya goes long. Bouncing header. Havertz to try and win it. And will win the free kick off Papsar there. That's incredible from Kai Havertz there. Four minutes of the 6 to go. Spurs find themselves 3-0 down at a game at Anfield last season. They come back to 3-3 in added time, and then lost it in added time 4-3. That's the last time Spurs have come from 3 goals down to equalise in a game. They're known for their late drama, Spurs. Scored 2 late goals here against Sheffield United earlier this season to win by 2-1. That was very, very late in those games, both in added time. That's lovely work from Richarlison. Plays it on to Kulusevski. Runs into trouble. Referee's playing advantage. Here's Richarlison. Determined run down the left. Taken out there by William Saliba. And Spurs will have a free kick. Late on. 3 minutes of the added 6 to go. And Spurs have a set piece here. A chance. Porro and Lo Celso over it. Look at the Spurs bodies in there. 6 of them. Inside that 18-yard box. Waiting for the delivery. Porro with the delivery. Headed up. And headed behind by Arsenal. Corner to Spurs. And Saliba headed that one behind. They've got time, Spurs. And Arsenal need to defend for their lives now. Give this everything. Corner comes in. Headed up into the air. Not cleared away. This time it will be, though. Fired long. There's Vicario there. Does really well. Sweeper keeping. Gives it to Lo Celso. Bissouma as our Spurs come forward again. Son down the left hand side. Cross to Bissouma. Now Van de Ven. Sarr. Arsenal as deep can be. Kulishevsky had to hold off Spurs on the edge of the box. Bissouma. Son now. Need to get the ball in here, Spurs. Here's Son to play it across. Oh, and Raya grasped it away, still alive. Sarr runs himself into trouble. And now Arsenal on the brick themselves. Havertz couldn't beat past. Incredible pace from, I think it was Van de Ven. It might have been. And Spurs have it back. Dramatic. 1 more minute. Sarr. Kulishevsky. Now Brennan Johnson. Back to Kulishevsky on the edge. Now finds Lo Celso to whip it in. Lo Celso to the back post. Richarlison with the header. Takes a deflection. Will be a corner. 40 seconds to go. Time is certainly against them. But they have an opportunity. And the keeper's coming up too. Vicario's coming up. Porro to take the corner. Right footed, front post. Headed away. Pretty easily kept in there. So Arsenal clear it away. Kulishevsky wins it back. Kulishevsky now on the right. Martinelli tracking back and clears it out for the throw. It's going to be now or never for Spurs. This is a massive moment in the title race. Son with a delivery. Overhits. Goal kick. And that's the final whistle for a real foray. Dramatic ending to the North London derby as always. Arsenal hold on. And what a huge 3 points this could be. It looked really, really certain at half-time that they would be going back out of this North London derby with an easy victory, but never in this North London derby. This fixture always delivers, always creates drama, always makes it a dramatic ending. And another one we've had here. From easy cruising from Arsenal, Romero gets a goal from nothing, and Son with a penalty had them gasping, desperate for an equaliser in those dying moments. But controlled, composed, strong, compact defending from Arsenal held them in there, and the title race rolls on, and Arsenal get a big 3 points on the road. Back-to-back away victories in the North London derby for the first time since 1988. Could it be a very good omen for Arsenal? They would love to be, these 3 points could be massive for their title race hopes. Ange Postecoglou's side fought in there in the second half. They practically had it gifted to them. They really, honestly, would have been a smash and grab if they got anything out of this. You would be wrong to say anything other than Arsenal deserved this. But you don't always get what you deserve in football. But today, Arsenal hung in there, hung on, clung on, and got a huge 3 points in the North London derby. Dramatic ending. Dramatic moments. That's what the North London derby's all about. I told you it's the best game of the season. It always is. And another huge win for the Gunners on the road. And that is massive. At Bournemouth, their game against Brighton, we had so much drama later on, we couldn't tell you they scored a third goal in that one. Bournemouth, third goal, Justin Kluivert, so a big win for Bournemouth in their hopes, and they jump up to the top half. We'll show you the table and what this win for both Bournemouth and Arsenal does to the table. And it means now, with Arsenal winning, Man City can only finish second here this afternoon. They can't jump up top spot to this afternoon. They will be second, no matter what happens in their game later this evening. 80 points for the Gunners, who lead the way. 76 for Manchester City, and Liverpool on 75. It seems to be a two-horse race between Arsenal and City now. Liverpool probably seen themselves out of it with only 1 point from their last 6 in those 2 games against West Ham and Everton away from home. Disappointing for Liverpool, but it's City and Arsenal going for it again, and with a lot less games and Arsenal in a lot better form, they surely can cling on and do it now. You never know. We will find out. That is it from us here this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us for this North London derby. It's been an incredible fight, and we'll be back for Champions League football in midweek. But for now, have a great rest of your Sunday afternoon. Bye bye.